The vast majority of Americans are urging Congress to just talk about stimulus checks and get it done, because with looming recession and debt default, the chances of another round of federal relief is likely. Although inflation is falling, Americans' bank accounts and budgets have taken a hit. The latest thing the country needs is a recession, but the Federal Reserve's own economists are predicting a mild recession this year, and a recovery to take 2 years as well. Recession fears were reignited this year after chaos broke out in the U.S. banking industry, following the collapse of the Silicon Valley Bank, and the Signature Bank as well. The turmoil has stoked fears that regional banks could be overwhelmed by waves of withdrawals or bank runs. Fed economists noted that the economic outlook is especially hard to gauge now compared to the past due to the banking turmoil. They cautioned that if the financial system faces even more pressure, their forecasted recession would be even worse than average downturns. The economic downturn could result in a higher unemployment. The Fed staff economists are expected that the U.S. economy would fully recover by 2025. 3 rounds of unprecedented stimulus payments helped the country survive the crisis, and now we need another one. The Federal Reserve can't force banks to loan money at a certain rate. Instead, it manipulates the cost of borrowing by adjusting the discount rate that it charges banks for short-term loans. Starting last year, the Fed enacted the first of what will become 10 consecutive increases to its short-term rate. But now, it's a strategy that the Fed chairman pioneered and successfully implemented during the recession before in the past. And when Congress passed the CARES Act in March, the economy was already losing tens of millions of jobs. The stock market crashed and the country was in the grips. But, according to experts, stimulus checks and programs have been used at many points over the years to fill gaps or to restart consumer spending. From the housing industry, after the credit crisis, the first-time home buyer tax credit was used to revive a housing market that was on life support. Many people used it and were able to get so much help. And the Fed is also aiming for a so-called soft landing, which strikes the perfect balance between tightening money supply just to tame inflation, which will cause a recession. Big announcement from the IRS: taxpayers are eligible to claim an extra relief check this year. $500 checks are being sent out right now to more than 1 million people. The Minnesota frontline workers will receive close to $500 from the state as recognition for their key roles during the crisis. And according to the Minnesota governor, the state began sending payments worth $488 to more than 1 million people this week. Leaders on both sides of the aisle disagreed over the payment plan, and that's not very good, because with Democrats wanting $1 billion to go towards workers and Republicans only wanting to spend $250,000, which would give less people and less stimulus checks. Eventually, the governor and state legislators approved a $500 million budget to provide the payments to workers. The leaders originally expected around 670,000 applicants, bringing the payment total to $750 each. However, in June, the number of eligible recipients increased dramatically after the application opened. Of the nearly 1.2 million applications, the state approved 1 million for payments, and the governor sent a release that I'm grateful for the work Minnesotans did to help the people across the state. Frontline workers are important for the fabric of our state and help us continue functioning through the crisis. And people were denied the payment for several reasons, like earning too high money or receiving unemployment benefits or above a certain income level, and they're not required hours in the frontline sector. So the state received allocations from several industries, including healthcare, long-term care, and courts, education, and food service, but eligible recipients will get their payment on as a direct deposit or prepaid debit card. And the Department of Labor and Industry has also released a report breaking down the number of payments for different industries 90 days after payments are processed. So state officials have actually said the final payments will not be taxed just yet but they're taxable at the federal level. So that's one thing to know. Taxable at the federal level. And not only that, but listen to this, everybody. Senator Wyden shared expectations for the 10-year investment, including customer service and technology, in a letter to the Treasury Secretary. That's what the commissioner said. Now, according to Senator Wyden, these priorities are on top of implementing tax provisions like clean energy credits, health insurance subsidies, and others. Wyden has said the funds would not be used to increase the audit rate relative to historic levels for those making less than $400,000. Wyden also urged the IRS to improve the customer service because, let's be honest, that needs to be fixed. Wyden asked for technology upgrades to improve service and enforcement, making it easier to process third-party tax forms and flag errors to begin audits more quickly. Wyden also highlighted the need to rebalance audit rates between wealthy and lower-income taxpayers by hiring more revenue agents, and IRS audits dropped 44% between fiscal year 2015 and 2019, and according to a 21 report, the Treasury Secretary, or Treasury Inspector actually, for the tax administration, said the audits have actually dropped by 75%, making it $1 million more for the low and moderate earners. So stimulus payments are going out. That is official, and people receiving stimulus payments very, very soon. So let's be excited for that.
That take you a long time to come up with that one. I could have guessed that one. Rawgeneration.com for all you folks watching out there. This is a true, unique Jersey success story that sells all over the United States. And it's direct to consumer. So you're going to have to go to that website and get.
One of the biggest complaints about last year's stimulus checks was some college students and even some high school students did not qualify. This time around, that's finally going to change. But there is a catch or two, as we explain in today's Don't Waste Your Money report. College students are not just celebrating spring. Savannah Burhaney celebrating the rollout of stimulus checks.
I'm excited. I hope to get it so that I can pay for my college next year.
9.1%, well ahead of the 8.6% a month before. Now, higher rates obviously is going to light a fuse under the Federal Reserve to impose even harsher medicine on the economy.
Checks are going out, everybody. The double relief payments are available to be claimed by many of you guys, even if you don't even know it. So as I said, seniors and beneficiaries can receive and expect bonus checks. Yes, bonus stimulus payments are here from President Biden, and many of the state senators all across the 50 states are sending out their own stimulus payment to help out the people that are in need of stimulus money. So folks, I really hope that President Biden can get the job done fast and send out stimulus payments before it's too late. Now, Social Security will be seeing a lot of changes in 2023. Many of them are tied to the biggest cost of living adjustment in more than 40 years. And the new COLA is going to impact Americans and the Social Security benefits and the payout as well. So the big news for 2023 is an 8.7% jump in stimulus payments. An 8.7% jump in the COLA, Social Security COLA that is. It's the highest since 11% back in 1981, and the COLA's steep hike next year is due to the year's soaring inflation rate, which is also seeing the biggest in 41 years, everybody. So now the average monthly Social Security payment for retired workers will just rise to an estimated $1,800 in 2023 from $1,600 back last year. The SSA said that it would be at a gain of $146 a month, and according to the SSA, for anyone receiving Social Security benefits, the new payment amount will be around in 2023. It's going to be announced. For those receiving SSI, that is, the new payment amounts will begin on December 30th, and beneficiaries will begin receiving both types of checks and following the same schedule, with the SSI arriving shortly before the Social Security increase is announced. The 2023 COLA of 8.7% is not going to apply to all benefits and recipients. Some payment increases will be higher than 8.7%, and some will be lower due to a variety of factors. But including your primary insurance amount and when you sign up for Medicare is all the keys. Beginning in December, the SSA